Hello guys, welcome back to the ETP workshop. Today's topic is all about how to deload and why. Thank you for being patient. I know I've been MIA for a little while, but I'm back. I think this is a topic that a lot of you guys have reached out to me about and want to know how to execute properly. So the reason why we take a deload is because we need to reduce the amount of stress on the body, and this is a stress that we can control. We can't often control the stress that's going on in our brain or the environment that we're in, whether that's family, work, etc. So with the training stimulus that occurs in the gym, we can control that. So when we run a deload, normally it's either planned or with the feedback from the client, with their information through the check-ins, we can see how the client's been responding. And then we can say, look, you're pretty fucked. You know, you've been in the red for a good period of time. You've been training super hard for the past 7 weeks. What we need to do is look at your training frequency. So how often you've been training that week. Look at the amount of sets and reps that you've been doing whilst you're training. So your training volume. And then we try to look at where we can manage that as best as possible. So for instance, let's use myself as an example. So today is a push day, chest bias, and I am running a deload. What I'm going to do is opt for my set number 2 only. This is my back off set. Majority of the time, my set number 2 and your set number 2, if you're training with me, would normally be a reduction in weight and slightly higher amount of reps. It's still a working set. For me, at the moment, on my sets, I do have a lot of exercises where I have 2 sets of 8 to 10 or 6 to 10 or 10 to 12. So I'll always pick my back off set. And normally with the setup that I have at the moment, my set 2 normally has a few less reps on there just because I'm taxed from the first set. Now, for instance, if you have a set 1, 6 to 10, and your set 2 is 12 to 15, we will opt for that back off set where there is a reduction of load, weight, and a higher amount of reps. The goal is to hit the numbers from your logbook and do not do any more than necessary. We're not looking to hit PBs. What we are looking to do is recover this week whilst we're in a deload phase and look at how we perform the following week. So if your training block or your mesocycle is, say, 8 weeks, and week 1 to 7, you're progressively overloading with reps and weights over that 7-week period. And then on week 8, you would then run that deload. What you're looking at it doing is when it comes back down to week 9, so you restart, you go back to week 1, but technically it's week 9, you're looking at progressively overloading again with beating your reps from your logbook. Again, beating that rep range, whether that's 6 to 10 or 8 to 12, and then gradually adding a small amount of weight where that would then take you back to the beginning of your rep bracket, if that makes sense. So when I mean that rep bracket, if you've been given 6 to 8 reps or 8 to 10 reps and you're doing more reps over a period of time, so you're hitting like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Once you have started to do more reps than prescribed, we need to add a little bit more weight. So therefore, you should start failing at the required rep range that's been prescribed for you, okay? So today, set 2 only. I have done my feeders on this pec fly. So my goal is, bear with me, 2 sets, 8 to 12, pin number 10, we don't know what the weight is in this one, but it's pin number 10, and I did 11.5 reps. So all I'm going to try and do is 11.5 reps, and that's it. I have done my feeders, like I said. I did 5 sets of feeders, so I started with 8 reps, then 6 reps, then 4 reps, then 2 reps, then 2 reps, then that brought me up to where I'm about to go now. So even though this is set number 1, it is my set number 2 for the reps and weights that we are going for on this machine, okay? Now my starting point is going to be at the top, right here. Fists are in line with the chest, rib cage stacked down over the pelvis, nice big stretch. Pause and then drive forward and squeeze. I'm micro pausing both end ranges. Oh, so that was 11 reps. 11.5 was in my logbook, but 11 is perfect for me. I'm not trying to hit any PDs. The idea is that I'm allowing my body to kind of recover, but at the same time, I still want to get in here. I have a job to do. I still want to keep that blood flow and that optimal pump. Otherwise, you know, it's like when you take a week off from the gym, sometimes it takes you 3 to 4 weeks to get back to where you're at before. So if we can manage this deload phase or this devolume phase with weights that we're used to moving without so much intensity or trying to put or hit PBs every single set, we should recover and allow a little bit more time through the sessions with rest periods. Therefore, it should get me into position next week where, you know, I should start being able to hit some good PBs throughout the session. So let's talk about some issues that occur when we're feeling like a deload might need taking place. One thing for me is my training desire dips massively. Like, I always want to train. Even when I don't want to train, I kind of want to train. So my training desire when it's low is around a 5 or a 6, whereas some people it might be like a 2 or a 3. That for me is a huge red flag if my training desire is sitting around a 5. Another one is that if you are experiencing lack of pump in the gym, so you're coming in, you're moving the weights, which might be hard for you to move. If you're not getting a good pump, that's a huge indication that your body is super tired. And normally, it's a sign that your body is not utilizing insulin very well. Another one is libido. Libido is huge. If you're extremely fatigued, the last thing your body wants to do is have a high libido. Again, that can go the opposite way when you're in comp prep or you're in a really low end of your diet and your body's super tired. Libido could be super low there as well. Libido can be affected by high body fat percentage and low body fat percentage as well. But that is an indicator for me that if I'm super fatigued and a deload is coming into play, I'm going to look at all these kind of variables. Sleep, you could be super tired and struggle to fall asleep. That is a huge indication that your body is extremely fatigued. So that's another red flag for me. So we've got training desire dips, lack of libido, lack of pump, struggling to fall asleep even though you're tired, and finding that you can't fall asleep or get to sleep in your most comfortable position. That's normally an indication that your body is extremely tired. For me, another one as well, and this is my kind of telltale, if it takes me 30 minutes to drive home from the gym and the last 5 minutes of driving I can feel a little bit tired and lethargic, that's kind of normal for me. But if I'm in that car and within 5 or 10 minutes my eyes are closing and I'm struggling to stay awake, that is a fucking huge red flag for me that I am fatigued. And when all these red flags align, that is just painting the picture for me to say, Koi, you need to have a deload and pull back on your training frequency. So maybe have an extra couple of rest days through that week. And then we go into the back off sets only throughout the devolume process as well. Again, you might find that your training desire in the morning is like, yep, 10 out of 10, I want to go. And then you get into the gym and you're like, I have got fucking nothing. My training desire is a 4 right now or a 1. However, sometimes you could have a low training desire and you get into the gym and all of a sudden, boom, you have an epic workout. You've got an insane pump. That happens quite a lot. And in that case, I would look at all the other variables. Sleep's great, yeah, no worries. Libido's great, yeah, no worries. It was just that particular day that I might have had a shit night's sleep, lack of water through the first half of the day or a lack of water the day before. And that could have just had an impact on my training desire that particular day. And if your pattern seems to be that you're just a little bit tired before going in, but everything's fine, then you probably don't need to pull a deload. At the same time, we're all different, so sometimes people need a forced deload and some people just need one, you know, every 5 to 7 weeks. And that's for me. I need a deload every 5 to 7 weeks because I train super hard and my intensity and my execution to failure is every single rep to failure, to mechanical failure. That is extremely taxing on the body. So not a lot of people can put their body to mechanical failure, so they might not understand that. But when you're training all out and your form is fucking bang on throughout the reps, and you're going to, you cannot move another inch without changing your form, that's going to mechanical failure, and that does become extremely taxing on the body. Okay, we've got exercise number 2. We have the incline cable press. I am looking at hitting 11 reps on plate number 9. Okay, no PBs. All I'm doing is perfect form. I'm starting my press from the lengthened position. So I'm gonna count my reps from here. And then this is going to be me through this set. My form isn't gonna change. I'm gonna focus on contracting my muscles in the short as I drive forward. When we're deloading, guys, we still want to make sure every rep fucking counts, all right? Otherwise, what's the point in being here? All I'm doing is eliminating that top set, which is the heaviest, most taxing, most intense set of that exercise. And all I'm doing is eliminating that. And my set number 2 has to be fucking banging from rep 1 to rep 11. And I will not do any more. Okay, we have 35 kg dumbbells, low incline bench set. The goal is 12 reps. I don't think I'm going to get that today. I'll be happy with 8 to 10. The goal is to not do too much. I still want to work towards my numbers. However, I'm managing a few issues around my elbows. So for me, it would be smart just to leave a couple of reps in reserve. If I get the 12, happy days, but if I don't, I'm not going to be pissed off about it. The goal is that I look after my health at the end of the day, and I still make sure every rep counts, so I still get some good stimulus towards the pecs. Felt pretty good. I probably could not have done any more. That was perfect, but I got to 8, felt pretty good. Got to 10, felt pretty good, and I thought, yeah, I can hit these extra 2 out, so I'm still within the reps that I did last week, so I'm happy with that. Okay, we've got exercise 4, the delt machine raise. I just want to show you a little tip on this one to make sure you get this right. And some people might have a different setup, but this is how I like it and I found the most efficient. So when I'm getting inside these pads, these delt pads on the side, I like to start with the pads just above my elbow, more on the bicep side of things. And then when I'm driving up towards the ceiling, the pads move down just below the elbow. I find if the pads are set just below the elbow to start with, then it moves down and it ends up halfway down the forearm and it's not very comfortable. So see how you go with this one, but for me, I'm gonna get that pad set just above the elbow, and then as I drive forward, I'm gonna come up, pads just below the elbow, and then a nice control on the way down. Right. Now, exercise 4, I'm actually going to do this reversed, okay? So I will flip the camera in a second. I prefer to face the stack of this machine. It allows me to have more of a scapular plane of motion. This delt machine wants to force me out to the side, and I don't quite like how that sets up for my body mechanics. I know that my plane of motion is this, from the scapular plane, instead of pushing out to the side. So when I face the stack, I'm able to utilize the machine a little bit better to suit my body mechanics. This might be different for you, but you can have a go, see what you think. The goal is 12 to 15 on this one, and I hit 13 last time with number 5. 5th plate, 13 reps, that's all I'm going for today, okay? So you can see how I've changed my position. I'm now facing the stack. This will give me a better scapular plane of motion to move throughout my shoulder joint. Okay, drive the elbows away from the, to create some tension at the plates so they're not at a dead weight. This is going to be my starting position, okay? I want to explosively drive up and control on the way down. Stacking the rib cage over the pelvis so my core's nice and engaged, feet are pressed into the floor. Okay, 13 reps. Now, on a normal given day, I would add pulses to this. I would run this to absolute failure. So you see I got full range of motion. I was able to get the weight from the bottom to the top, and then I stopped because I capped it at rep 13. But if I was to take this to absolute failure, I would just keep working through the range, you know. If this is the low end of the range and this is the top end of the range and this is the mid range, I'm going to be, if I fail at the mid range, I'm going to be forcing my forcing my delts to the side to get maximum contraction. I'm just going to keep pulsing this. I'm just going to throw my elbows into the pads, thinking about shrugging my shoulders up into my ears and try and get the most out of that. Now, obviously, we're not doing that today because I'm reducing intensity and being smart, okay? So next week, I will do that on this type of isolation movement. I don't do it all the time, but when I can, I will just take everything till fucking failure. Okay, so this is the last chest exercise of the push session. We have standing high to low cable flies, micro pause in both ends. Set 2 goal is 12 to 15, where I know I got 15 reps with the 5th plate on here. I don't know what these weigh at, but I do know they're quite heavy at 15 reps. So this is the last one. We're going to get this done. Then we're going to 2 sets of triceps, 2 exercises of triceps, where I'll only do 1 exercise on each. And then I've got core and cardio. If I'm coaching you, sometimes I'll get you to completely drop your cardio out, depending on how fatigued you are. Sometimes I'll get you to just reduce your steps and keep cardio in. Sometimes I'll eliminate both of them and just put you on a minimum amount of steps for that week or that time frame. And I'll always give an extra rest day or 2, depending on how tired you are, how fatigued you are. So that just comes with all the information that you give me across the week in the weekly habit form, and then the weekly check-in form that you guys complete. I go back and review all that stuff, and then I can go, okay, cool, well, so-and-so's sleep was absolutely terrible all week. You know, they're only getting 4 to 5 hours sleep. I can probably see why they're struggling to progress with their lifts in the gym, and their training desire is super low. Again, we're looking at all these variables, and that sleep is king at the end of the day. So if you're not getting a minimum of 7 to 8 hours sleep, a total sleep in bed, because remember, we all lose about an hour per night throughout the night, whether it's hearing a noise, scratching your nose, tossing and turning, getting up for the toilet, whatever it is. Majority of people will wake throughout the night, and it's on and off. You know, again, sometimes going into REM, or you've had a dream or whatever it is, you could be waking up. So if you're going to bed and you're counting 8 hours sleep, I can guarantee you're only getting 7. So you need to look at actually your sleep quality and what you're actually getting. I look at and review that over the week, so please make sure you keep on top of your habit sheets, guys, because that gives me so much information, again, with your water intake, sleep quality, desire to train, how your digestive system is. That is a huge red flag as well, guys, which I probably missed at the beginning. You know, if you are experiencing bloating, issues with going for number twos and unfrequent bowel movements, you know, this is a huge indication that your body is super tired, especially if you're in that off-season setting where food volume is crazy high. You know, that's going to be a lot of stress on the GI system as well, on the GI tract. So that is a huge one. You probably noticed this as well. When you're super tired and you have been tired for a period of time, you can end up quite bloated and hold a lot of water retention. So managing that sleep, managing your training stimulus, managing stress when you can, external stress or even internal stress with breathing techniques, meditation, saunas, etc. These are all the things that can help. And I would definitely recommend, if you are having a deload where your training time has shortened because we are only doing one set instead of two, I would be trying to spend time on getting extra sleep, seeing if you can focus on recovery management like tissue massage, saunas, infrared saunas, dry needling, myofascia release with a ball or a roller or something like that. I would be spending that extra time making sure that you're managing your stress extremely well, all right? Okay, we have got a tricep overhead cable extension. I'm gonna give you a tip on this one, guys. You want to be able to keep your upper arm, your humerus bone in play. It doesn't matter if it flares out to the side a little bit. There's no right or wrong on that one. But I just want you to keep the upper arm fixed and then just flex and extend at the elbow. You want to be able to flex that elbow as much as you can and allow that hand to get all the way down to the back of your neck. Think about allowing the forearm to squash the bicep. When that happens, you get full lengthen of a tricep. So you're going to stretch that tricep in a loaded position, which is going to create so much fucking stimulus. It's unbelievable, okay? So don't look to do any half rep parries, just coming up and down and pump it out. Get that full range of motion. If you can, keep that elbow fixed up as much as you can. Now, another tip on this one as well. You see, when I do that, my rib cage has flared up. I want to keep that rib cage stacked down. So by stacking the rib cage, contract the core and allow this arm to get up as much as you can and then move throughout that range, okay? Okay. Now this cable or this weight is pulling my hand towards my shoulder, which is great because it's allowing me to force my forearm into my bicep to fully lengthen this tricep now. And now this tricep is under load, which is great, okay? Rib cage stacked down, core tight, okay? Ooh, I'm looking for 12 reps. Yeah. Some of you might find it quite uncomfortable getting your arm above your head. And if that is the case, you need to ask yourself, how often do you have your arms above your head? And it's probably not very often, okay? So rotator cuffs, other supporting muscle groups across the back or across the upper back bias might be super tight or inactive. So this is a great practice to get rid of tight shoulder, frozen shoulder, or any issues. And I tell you what, if you can get your arm up, whether your elbow's in flexion or whatever it is, you're going to stretch your anterior serratus, so the muscles that run just over your rib cage. When they get tight, it depresses the shoulder. So this is a really good practice to stretch your anterior serratus. The way you need to do this is by stacking that rib cage. If your rib cage is flared up, it's just going to allow your anterior serratus to kind of not get any good stretch. So by dropping the rib cage, you're going to keep that anterior serratus down, and then the muscle groups that are around that and where it attaches to underneath, around the rib cage, you're going to, with keeping that arm up in the air, you're going to allow that anterior serratus to have a huge stretch, which is great. Again, maybe use a light weight to start with, just till you get comfortable with this one, okay? Right, this is the last set of this push chest bias session. We've got some long rope tricep extensions. I'm gonna still make sure I get that forearm to the bicep, so I fully lengthen the tricep. I'm micro pausing both contractile ranges on this one, so I'm not particularly trying to load my tricep in a stretch position for a period of time. This program, we're just basically micro pausing a lot. So if you see me just up and down, that's why. I might spend a little bit longer than half a second micro pausing, and that's just so I can get a good contraction, a good stretch, but I don't need to spend too much time in either end of the range there, which is cool. This is it. How to deload and why we deload. So if you do find yourself in a position where you're struggling with your lifts, your training desires dropped, you've got some gut issues going on, you're struggling to sleep, your libido is fucking down, you know, there could be some other situations going on. There could be some other issues that need attending, okay? But go and get some blood tests. Yeah. Look into everything, what's going on. If you don't feel 100, ask yourself why. It's a process of elimination. Is it something you're eating? Is it your surroundings? Is it your environment? All I know is that the environment that I'm in right now, the gym, I can control this stress. Even though it's a good stress on my body doesn't know if it's fucking good or bad. It just knows that it's stress. So when I manage this on a regular basis, it allows me to progress very, very well in the gym. And I'm sure a lot of you have got to the point where, you know, you're training 5, 6, 7 days a week, and you do that for like 3 months, 12, 16 weeks on end, and it gets to the point where your lifts aren't going up, you're struggling to make the gym, you're fucking craving junk food, and then you fall off the wagon, you're eating a load of shit. It's probably just come down to you being absolutely tired. So do not look at having a deload or performing a deload as a sign of weakness. This is a sign of greatness. It is a sign of listening to your body and putting yourself in a position where you can start to progress on the other side, all right? So remember, if you do a deload, if you do need any help with a deload, let me know and I'll be happy to help you out. Most of Team Coister know the drill anyway, but I'm always happy to help. And just remember, if you get to that point where you're fucking tired and exhausted, take a few extra rest days. When you perform the deload, 1 set or do half of the amount that you normally are used to doing. Whether if you normally train 4 sets per exercise, just train 2. Team Coister, we only train 2 to 3 working sets, so we only look for that set number 2 or set number 3. 1 working set, that's all we do, and it's enough to still create some stimulus. It's still a amount of weight that we've been used to using over a period of time. And then give yourself, like I said, an extra day off from the gym. Make sure your sleep is fucking prioritized. Make sure you've got good food for the rest of the week and you're food prepping, and make sure that you are just looking after your health and looking at every angle that you can. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for watching. Any questions, please let me know. Leave a comment in the box below.